Guess you don't count. That's what my sister said when the seating chart put me outside by the trash cans. The hallway smelled like lilies and bleach. I could hear the DJ inside, counting down to the first dance. My mother adjusted her pearls. My father looked away. I tightened my grip on the gift I'd wrapped the night before, smoothed my wine-colored dress, and chose silence. No argument, no tears. I stood up and walked out into the Vermont air. 5 minutes later, the chandeliers went quiet and a scream cut the room in half. Here's what happened next. The Vermont air was sharp that morning, the kind that smells like pine and money. My sister Leia had chosen the lakeside resort for its European charm, the kind of place where people took photos just to prove they'd been invited. The glass ballroom overlooked the water, strung with orchids and candles floating in crystal bowls. Every table inside shimmered under the chandeliers. Mine apparently was out by the trash cans. I'd driven up alone 3 hours from Boston, replaying Mom's last text in my head. Please, Amber, no drama today. It's Leia's day. That was all I ever was to her. An instruction, a warning label. Don't make noise. Don't take space. Don't remind anyone there's another daughter. Growing up, we were the cliché you see in family portraits, the golden child and the quiet one. Leia had ribbons and trophies. I had report cards no one looked at. She'd cry and get rescued. I'd fix things and get ignored. Mom said I was the easy one. Dad said I was independent. Both meant the same thing. Invisible was convenient. The last time I saw them all together was Thanksgiving 3 years ago. I remember the house smelling like burnt pie crust and lemon cleaner. Leia was in Portugal with her new boyfriend, and for once, the air felt light. Mom asked me to grab an old photo album from her vanity drawer. Instead, I found her little brown journal edges soft from years of use. I flipped through it, curious, until I realized every page began the same way: Leia's first day of kindergarten, Leia's favorite meal, Leia's college acceptance. Not a single line about me, not my birthdays, not my name. When I asked why, Mom smiled like it was a silly question. You never needed the attention, honey. You were always fine. That night, I learned there are 2 kinds of forgotten: being lost and being erased. I thought about that journal as I walked toward the ballroom, now heels clicking on marble. Through the glass doors, I saw them posing for photos. Mom in champagne silk, Dad straightening his tie, and Leia glowing in white. She looked back. Once saw me and smiled the same way people smile at store clerks they won't remember. The coordinator intercepted me with her clipboard. "You're Miss Hayes?" she asked. "Yeah." Her polite smile faltered when she found my name. "You're listed for hallway seating." I laughed, waiting for her to correct herself. She didn't. "Hallway seating. Next to the trash cans." I followed her hand toward the small folding table by the service doors. From there, I could see the entire ballroom, every sparkle, every laugh. But there was a wall between us, literal and otherwise. I set my gift on the table, a small silver-wrapped box I'd spent hours picking out, and stared through the glass. Inside, Leia was raising her glass for a photo. Mom adjusting her veil. Outside, I sat in the cold draft and told myself the same lie I'd told for years. It's fine. You don't need them. But the truth was pressing against my chest, quiet and solid. Maybe I didn't need them. But that didn't mean they had the right to treat me like I never existed. I tried to disappear into the background like always, but the hallway wasn't quiet. Staff came and went through the service door, wheeling bins of melting ice, laughing under their breath. Every time it swung open, I caught flashes of the ballroom chandeliers glittering, dresses swaying, my mother's hand on Leia's shoulder like a crown of approval. Then the laughter shifted. I looked up and saw Leia walking toward me, bouquet in one hand, veil trailing behind, like smoke. She stopped just short of the doorway, her reflection doubled in the glass. 2 versions of her, one adored inside, one cruel outside. "Well," she said, tilting her head. "Looks like they finally figured out where you belong." I blinked. What's that supposed to mean? She smiled, that half-smile I'd seen since childhood. The one she used before stealing the spotlight. "Guess you don't count." The words landed so softly, I almost missed how sharp they were. Guess you don't count. like it was math, like I was a miscalculation. For a second, I said nothing. My throat went dry, the kind of dryness that comes from swallowing too much pride. Behind her, the photographer was calling Bride, "We need you back in the shot." She didn't move. She wanted me to react, to cry, to beg, to prove her point. I didn't. I just looked at her long enough for her smile to twitch. "You know," I said quietly, "there's always been space for both of us. You're the one who keeps shrinking it." Her eyes narrowed. "Oh, please, Amber. Not everything's about you. This is my day. You could at least pretend to be happy for once." I let out a small laugh, the kind that sounds like air escaping from a crack. "You made sure I couldn't even sit in the same room. What exactly am I celebrating?" For a moment, the mask slipped. I saw a flicker of something, fear, maybe. Then she straightened, lifting her chin. "You always twist things. Maybe Mom was right. You make everything difficult, Mom." The name hit harder than I wanted it to. I pictured that brown notebook again. Every page filled with Leia's life and none of mine. "I'm not difficult," I said. "You just never like that I see things the way they are." She rolled her eyes. "You sound just like Dad, pathetic and bitter. Face it, Amber. Nobody needs your approval. Not here, not ever." She turned on her heel, leaving a trail of perfume and disdain. I watched her go, her white gown brushing the floor, and felt the familiar burn behind my eyes. But this time, it didn't hurt the same way. It burned cleaner. When the door closed behind her, I picked up the small silver box from the table. The gift I'd chosen the night before, wrapped in quiet patience. I traced the ribbon once, then slipped it into my bag. If they didn't want me inside, fine. But I wasn't leaving empty-handed. Not this time. For a while, I just sat there, fingers pressed against the smooth edge of the box, listening to the muffled beat of music leaking through the ballroom doors. It was supposed to be their first dance, a perfect picture. I imagined Mom wiping tears, Dad clapping awkwardly, Leia basking in the applause, the same scene I'd watched my whole life from the edges, but edges cut. I stood up slowly, my reflection caught in the glass panel, still composed, maybe even graceful if you didn't look too closely. Inside the bag, the silver gift felt heavier than it should.